石门Reservoir was the most important hydraulic engineering project at the early stage of the government's move to Taiwan. Since the establishment of the Construction Committee by the Executive Yuan in 1956,石门Reservoir had undergone 8 years of construction and has been in operation for more than half a century. It plays an essential role in water supply to northern Taiwan, and the continuing structural transformation and upgrading is also the most magnificent legend in the history of reservoir construction in Taiwan.石门Reservoir is the only reservoir project in Taiwan that was promoted by the Construction Committee established by the Executive Yuan. Chen Zhen, the Vice President and Premier of the Republic of China at that time, was the first chairman of the committee. It showed that it was highly valued at that time. The loan of US aid played a very important role in the construction of石門Reservoir. It not only provided more than half of the construction fund required, but by way of the supervision of the American engineering consultants. The US reservoir construction technique was then introduced to Taiwan. It has had a huge impact on the subsequent reservoirs construction in Taiwan. The current location of Northern Region Water Resources Office, Water Resources Agency, Shiyifan Office Park, is where the石門Reservoir Construction Committee was. The northern side of the park office still retains the American consultant housing. The nickname of the outer access road to the reservoir, commonly known as American Road, has become the formal name of the road now. The construction of石門Reservoir started in 1956 and was completed in 1964. The main engineering items included diversion tunnel, spillway, earth rock dam, intake tower,石門power plant, weir of afterbay, and石門Canal. The height of石門Dam is 133 meters, and the reservoir capacity is 0.3 billion cubic meters. It was the highest dam in Southeast Asia and was the largest reservoir in Taiwan at that time.石門Reservoir not only provided irrigation water for nearly 60,000 hectares of farmland on Taoyuan's tableland, making Taoyuan the most important granary in northern Taiwan then. The electricity of 0.2 billion kilowatt hours generated in石門power plant annually was great help to Taiwan, which was short of electricity at that time. There were two great hydraulic events during the construction period of石門Reservoir. One was the change of the type of main dam, and the other was the attack of Typhoon Gloria. The original design of石門Dam was a concrete arch dam. After excavation of the foundation, it revealed that the geological condition was different from expectation. The construction committee resolutely accepted the advice of US experts, changed the type of dam to embankment dam. It was very rare in the history of reservoirs of the world. In September 1963, Super Typhoon Gloria hit Taiwan. The torrential rain not only caused flooding in Taipei Basin, but nearly made石門Dam overflow. Luckily, the construction of the dam was completed in May that year. The dam narrowly averted disaster and passed the trial. If the construction of the dam was behind schedule or the typhoon came earlier, there would be the devil to pay. The great construction of石門Reservoir, besides the visible dam, spillway, and weir of afterbay that create significant separation between water storage and afterbay area. There are the two canals that help the reservoir to perform its function of water supply, Taoyuan and石門Canal. Taoyuan Canal was built in Japanese occupation period. Its original intake was located under the left abutment of石門Dam. Due to the dam construction, it was moved to the left side of the afterbay.石門Canal was a part of石門Reservoir project. Its intake was located in front of the left abutment of石門Dam, above the original intake of Taoyuan Canal. These two canals were connected to the reservoir with intakes at different elevations. Through the branches connecting thousands of 100-year-old farm ponds, the canals cleverly delivered the water of Dahan River continuously to every corner of the tableland. We could say that, because of石門Reservoir, Dahan River truly becomes the mother river of Taoyuan. After石門Reservoir was completed in June 1964, it was transferred to Taiwan Province石門Reservoir Management Committee for operation. Later on, Taiwan Province石門Reservoir Management Bureau was established. The Bureau was in charge of the reservoir until 1999. when it was subordinate to Ministry of Economic Affairs due to the fact that Taiwan provincial government was streamlined. During the 35 years, through the improvement of the facilities and the construction of weirs in the upstream and downstream, the functions of the reservoir have been strengthened and enhanced step by step, including flood discharge capacity, sand prevention, and water supply. First, the enhancement of flood discharge capacity, building tunnel spillway. The attack of Typhoon Gloria in 1963 nearly made the flood overflow the dam. In order to enhance the capacity of flood discharge for the sake of safety, Sherman Reservoir Management Bureau built the tunnel spillway on the right bank upstream of the spillway. The amount of discharge of the tunnel spillway was designed for 2,400 cubic meters per second. It enhanced the discharging capacity of Sherman Reservoir to 13,800 cubic meters per second. This engineering started in September 1980 and was completed at the end of 1983. It was the first facility improvement of Sherman Reservoir. The second is the enhancement of sand prevention, building check dams at the upstream of the reservoir. The topography of watershed is steep and the geology was fragile. That makes sedimentation of the reservoir so obvious. To solve the problem of sedimentation, Sherman Reservoir Management Bureau drew up Catchment Management Project, which was involved with 5 phases and 20 years in total. The main jobs of the project was to build check dams on the mainstream and branch streams of Dahan River. More than 100 check dams were built under the cooperation with Soil and Water Conservation Bureau and Forestry Bureau. The large check dams that were built near the reservoir by Sherman Reservoir Management Bureau including Yixing Dam in 1966, Baling Dam in 1977, and Ronghua Dam in 1983. Due to the high water head available in Ronghua Dam, Yixing Power Plant was built at the same time to consolidate into the operation of Sherman Power Plant, making the hydraulic power generation in Dahan River doubled. The third was to enhance the water supply capacity, joint application with downstream Yushan Weir. Along with the industrial transformation in Taoyuan, the demand of public water supply increased sharply. Other than supplying water through Sherman and Taoyuan Canal, part of the water was released from the reservoir to downstream Yushan Weir for use. Yushan Weir was built by Taiwan Water Corporation and was completed in 1983. The annual amount of water taken from the weir was more than 0.2 billion tons. It contributed a lot to the enhancement of public water supply of Sherman Reservoir. Typhoon Air on August 23, 2004 was the biggest challenge for Sherman Reservoir since its completion and operation. The huge mudflow and driftwood coming along with the typhoon almost paralyzed Sherman Reservoir, causing water shortage in Taoyuan for 18 days. The economic losses could hardly be estimated. Therefore, the first Special Act for Reservoir Improvement was created. Special Act for the Improvement of Sherman Reservoir and its catchment area. The 13-year reconstruction process of Sherman Reservoir has been started. In order to solve the issue of water supply during water shutdown and the long period of facility transformation, emergent pumping stations called by the media as Big and Small Black Dragons were launched. The Big Black Dragon pumped water from the afterbay, while the Small Black Dragon pumped water over the top of the dam. These two pipes merged into Sankang Water Pumping Station before diverting to the water treatment plant directly. After getting through the situation caused by water shutdown, the Big Black Dragon was replaced by the new second raw water pumping station in 2005. The Small Black Dragon was upgraded to a water pumping system with a capacity of 960,000 tons per day. They exited in 2009 after the completion of multi-level intake. Typhoon Air highlighted the harm of high turbidity and silt to the reservoir during flood. To solve the issues, the following 3 questions must be answered. 1. How can the water supply be unaffected during the period of high turbidity raw water brought by flood? 2. How to discharge the mud and silt of high turbidity raw water out of the reservoir? 3. How can the water supply of downstream Yushan Weir be unaffected while the mud and silt discharging from the reservoir? The solutions proposed by Northern Region Water Resources Office for the above questions were multi-level intake, modification of power generating penstock, Zhongzhuang Auxiliary Lake, and Amuping Desilting Tunnel. multi-level intake structure was located on the left hillside of the dam. There were 3 intakes at different elevation, which were designed to withdraw relatively clean water during typhoon flood of high turbidity. It can avoid being easily affected by turbidity due to too low water intake, effectively ensure the stability of public water supply. The modification of the power generating penstock was to change the number 2 penstock of Sherman Power Plant for silt sluicing, while the number 1 penstock reserved for power generation. Since the penstock inlet of the power plant is the outlet point of the lowest elevation of the reservoir, the modification of the penstock for silt sluicing might sacrifice some power benefit, but hugely enhance the effectiveness of silt sluicing. The silt sluicing penstock was first used in July 2013 during Typhoon Solik. It has operated many times, having proved with excellent performance. It is a reconstruction engineering of Sherman Reservoir with minimum cost and maximum sand discharge efficiency. Zhongzhuang Auxiliary Lake is located on the left bank of Dahan River, around 12 kilometers downstream of the reservoir. Its effective capacity is 5.05 million cubic meters. The items of the whole project includes the movable weir, headrace, regulating pond, and water transmission pipe. Zhongzhuang Auxiliary Lake was originally an abandoned river channel infested with weed. After 6 years of construction, it was completed at the end of 2017. When the lake is full, the scenery is very beautiful. As Sherman Reservoir carries out silt sluicing and the turbidity in Yushan Weir gets higher, the lake will be activated. It is an indispensable key supporting for silt sluicing of Sherman Reservoir. The above project has been fully completed in 2018. In response to the impact of high turbidity on water supply, the transformation work has also come to an end. What is required next is to control the sediment. That's the purpose of Amupeng Desilting Tunnel. The normal desilting jobs of Sherman Reservoir are mainly excavation and dredging. Amupeng Desilting Tunnel will be used for dredging and pumping the silt at the midstream of the reservoir to deliver the muddy water to the flushing basin. After screening, the fine silt will be dumped at the flushing basin. It will be flushed into Dahan River to the sea with the flood during typhoon. The project is expected to join the ranks of reservoir desilting after completion in 2022. Sherman Reservoir has been over 60 years old since the start of construction. Due to the beautiful environment and convenient transportation, it receives the highest reputation in Taiwan. However, it is the role in water supply and the achievement in hydraulic that makes it extraordinary. Especially the continuous transformation and renovation in facilities not only makes Sherman Reservoir more vigorous with age, but more confident to meet future water supply challenges.